Fellas! Fellas, how we doing? Welcome to another Cherno live stream. Is everyone excited? I'm like a little bit scared because I was testing out the stream and like it just started dropping frames and that was like, I don't know what happened. Like it was just like out. It was just like, just basically stopped streaming. I had to restart OBS. So I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully it'll work because I kind of wanted to stream. Obviously, that was the plan. Because Ludum Dare, a game jam, is like next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but the one after. Which is like pretty wild. Because, like, I just remember it being like 50 days away, 40 days away, now it's 10 days away. And like, the time just flies and there's still quite a bit of stuff I wanted to do before like that begins. So yeah, so how you guys doing? Morning from the UK, good morning to you. First YouTube stream ever. No, I did one, like I used to stream on YouTube like 10 years ago, then I kind of stopped, switched to Twitch. But then like a few weeks ago I did a YouTube live stream. So this is like my second one in modern times, we'll say. Music is a bit, yeah. Is it really that loud, the music? I can turn it down a bit. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be alright. I'll turn the mic up as well a little bit. Okay, so yeah, basically what I'm going to do is today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some, basically kind of like, it was similar to what we were doing last time, I think, on the last YouTube live stream. Let me just, I'm just going to tweet this out. Forgot to do that. Typical. Let's do this real quick. You guys just entertain yourselves. Alright, class. I'm back. What's the plan for the stream today? Yeah, so we're gonna be working on like some Hazel stuff. Let me just switch this. So yeah, like there's still quite a bit of work that I have to do. There's part of this like new renderer kind of rewrite situation, and so we're gonna continue on with that. Let me just launch this, like see where we're at in general. But we're gonna just basically continue. This is just gonna be a programming live stream. We're just gonna write some code and make stuff like this hopefully work. Why is this crashing? Why is this not working already? What are we even running? Hazel runtime. Okay, well that needs a shader pack. And I guess it doesn't have one, or it's not built or something. What's going on here? I'm trying to run dichotomy. That's probably not the right one. This is on my other account. This is gonna be a mess. I might have to like steal some stuff from my desktop of my other account. Yeah, like this and this is kind of what I wanted to do. Let's just pop it like here. And I think, I don't know if that'll work, but it's supposed to be this one. Anyway, yeah, I think I know why. So let's set the working directory there and we'll take a look. And yeah, we're just gonna chill out. Like this is like, we're gonna have a good time, chill out. I'll try and like be active with chat as well. And see what's going on as I work here. But I'm gonna be reasonably like, I wanna actually try and get some work done as well. Alright, let's just debug this. I don't know why this is not working. Pretty sure it should be. Okay, what's up? Let's see, where's my chat at? Any plans to continue ray tracing series? Yes. I just haven't had time, honestly. Like, I just haven't had time to sit down and prepare the episodes. So, yeah. So, I'm gonna get back to that probably after like Ludum Dare, after the game jam, because I've been kind of preparing. It's kind of like, you know, I've got a bunch of videos coming up that aren't ray tracing related, and then so I've been busy with kind of working on videos, but then there's also like preparing Hazel, obviously for Ludum Dare, finishing up my new like huge like renderer rewrite thing as well. So there's been a lot of like programming work and stuff to actually do. Is it possible to create new shaders inside Hazel? Not like inside Hazel, meaning like as in using like the editor. Like you have to actually like, you'll have to write some C++ code. But yeah, like it's pretty easy. Like I've basically on all of the, we've used Hazel twice for 2 different game jams as a team. We've used it for Forest, which was like a year ago. And then like 6 months ago was like Dichotomy. And I added like custom render passes and shaders for certain graphical effects to both those games. There was like a fog effect in Forest, and then Dichotomy had like an outline shader. So I did that during the game jam, and it was like pretty simple. So yeah, it's definitely possible. All right, why can't you load anything, man? Why is it trying to load? No, well, that should be inside the shader pack. I don't know why. Like, I swear I left this was working last time. I don't even remember. Like, what did I do? So it obviously can't load the shader. Like, as in this shader pack, which it should be looking at this path. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Because it should just be resources. Oh, it's not here. What? But this is... Oh, because it's in... Dichotomy resources. Right, so this should be the working directory. I think that's why. What's your take on C++ 23? I haven't, like, I don't know any, can't name a single feature from there. I just haven't been in on that. Why is it this one that it can't load again? So this, I guess, is null, and it's null. What is this? The path is, yes, the pre-integration shader. Is it because it's a lowercase s? Don't think so. Oh, maybe it is. Let's try uppercase s, because it hashes the string for shader packs, so that might be why. Yeah, it is. And then this is like a different problem, I think. What I don't understand is that this is the... Oh, this is the wrong branch, man. Can you believe that? I've just been working off the wrong... I opened the wrong Hazel. It's... because the right one's not here for some reason. Oh, because I haven't streamed the right one yet. So it's not in my recent on this user account. So it's called dev final, I think. Okay, sorry, I was in the wrong solution. What a joke. Am I Russian? Yes, kind of. I'm like half... I was born in Australia. I'm half Russian, half Moldovan. Because my dad's Russian, my mom's Moldovan. But yeah, I guess I was born in Australia, so I'm also Australian. Can I also speak German? Yes, a little bit. Ein bisschen. Because I went to school there for a while when I was little. Because my parents kind of wanted to move there. You're planning to make Hazel ship games to consoles? If yes, then how will we host proprietary code for consoles to case? I haven't really thought that far. Like as in how we're going to host the proprietary code. Like we'll just have it like, I guess it'll be locked down a little bit more and you might have to sign a license agreement, kind of like Godot does it. But yes, like I would like to support consoles in the future, but that will probably only happen after we actually ship an actual premium kind of title using Hazel, which is in the works. Like we're planning to do that, obviously. That's why we're kind of making like a game engine as well, like because like it's not just like so that you guys can like, you know, well, okay, there's a few reasons. Like obviously because I love game engines and I want to make a game engine, but also like to kind of teach you guys, I guess, and give you something to play with as well, which is good. But then like the other big reason is we just want to make games and we're going to do it in our own engine. So that's like another big reason. What's your opinion on templates? Templates are good, but if you go too wild with them, they are bad. They're good in moderation, like most things in life. Do you like Kotlin? Haven't really tried it much. That's like the Java kind of successor thing, isn't it? That like Android apps are written in these days. Have you experienced frame time stutters with Vulkan when balanced power plant is active? Have not tried that. No matter how powerful PCs or how much frame times I have to spare. Yeah, well that's just typically how Windows kind of computers and hardware and stuff works. Like even like lots of laptops need, you know, they need the AC adapter plugged in because they need the extra wattage that the battery can't even supply for the GPUs. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, it's to be expected that you'd get stutters and stuff if you're not probably on full speed, on full performance. Global illumination plan for Hazel. What GI solution are you planning to implement? Yeah, we basically have that already, like in a branch. I had made it work. I don't think I've pushed it though to GitHub. so don't get too excited. But yeah, it's just RTXGI is probably what we'll use. It works really, really well, and even on, and it can be used really easily even if you don't have an RTX GPU, because you can just bake those kind of light maps. So it's not as dynamic, obviously, but you can kind of get it to run the ray tracing shaders on compute, obviously, and then just it'll be slower, but it can be okay. So that's kind of what we're doing. It's just that, like, I added that about 6 months ago, but I stopped there because we decided, like, we were initially going to make a game. We were initially going to make a game that, like, used, like, you know, global illumination and light map baking and all that stuff. So I was kind of working on that tech, but then we decided to go a different direction completely. And so the game kind of that we're, like, working on in pre-production, I guess now, that doesn't have, like, that's not going to need that tech. So, but it's going to need different tech. So, that's why, like, I stopped working on that and started working on other stuff. All right, this is becoming a Q&A live stream. All right, what are you guys talking about? You guys talking about who the heck I am, right? Anya is Ukrainian. Yes, she is. She was born in Kiev. You're Moldovan. I can't speak Romanian, no. I was brought up speaking Russian, just like Anya as well. Are you utilizing new AI tools for workload with code? Not really, outside of just for fun. So, like, I've asked ChatGPT to do some stuff just for fun, but I don't really use it as part of my work, no. Probably should start, maybe, to just ask it for help sometimes, but yeah. Is this a YouTube only stream? Yes. We're on YouTube, so it is YouTube only, I guess. Q&A stream would be cool, though. Yeah, maybe someday. The reason why I'm not really doing that now, or why this isn't going to become a Q&A stream, is because I got a lot of work to do. So let's get back to the work. So this should be the right thing, especially because what's going on? Yep, I'm doing wonderfully. Yeah, especially because I wasted the first, like, part of this whole session just doing absolutely nothing, because I opened up the wrong solution. I opened up a different branch. All right. So this is dichotomy on the new engine, like in the new kind of renderer. Right, so that's pretty good. Now, one of the things I actually wanted to do, there's a couple of things that we need to do. Like, first of all, I'm kind of working to clean this up. If we just open up Fork real quick. This is like the game engine series, but let me just open this guy. Okay, so for those of you playing along at home who do have access on patreon.com/thecherno, and you do have access to Hazel, then this is located in the renderer 2023 branch. So that's the branch that I'm working on at the moment, and I'm basically cleaning it up. So you can see I'm going through, like, all of this code here, and I'm just removing, like, a lot of it, because this was, like, the old system. I explained, I think, at some point that the way that I wrote this was like, I kind of implemented, like, the new renderer kind of along with the old renderer, so I didn't really get rid of, like, a lot of the, you know, the way that we handled materials and stuff. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is, by the way, this is, like, I put out a video last night just on my YouTube channel. So my latest video on my YouTube channel is, like, about what the heck's going on. So watch that video if you have no idea what I'm working on, because I'm still kind of working on this. Okay, so yeah, okay, so there's some stuff that I want to kind of iron out, I think. Now, from memory, there was an actual issue that I had with shader macros, like this guy here. That's why I ended up setting some of these to true, and, like, it was just not ideal. But other than that, I'm just going through and cleaning up a whole bunch of stuff. And then I'll probably commit that. Because, like, a lot of this stuff isn't used. Like, I don't think this is used anymore. Yeah, it's not. Right? And that's probably not used. So this can just go away. Don't think that thread pool was even used. That was just a little experiment at some point. Let me just compile this, make sure I didn't remove anything I need. Alright, yeah, there was like this example of how render passes should work. So this was like, I don't know if I should leave any of this in here, probably not. I don't know why I did this little pragma region thing, probably not going to do that. And then there's like, yeah, this stuff is all, oh, you know what I wanted to do? This is what I wanted to do. I basically wanted to rewrite this stuff so that it wasn't, so basically those of you like following along with this journey, you know that one of the things that we got rid of is basically descriptor sets used to be allocated every frame and then updated every frame, kind of like as needed, and then the whole pool gets reset once per frame. So that's how we used to do things. Now we don't do that anymore, but certain things such as Bloom Compute over here, and like I think the pre-integration pass as well, which I didn't write that, Karim wrote that, but this kind of stuff still does actually use that system. So materials don't, and like the main renderer doesn't, but certain compute passes still do, and that should be removed. So basically you can see like where the descriptor set here comes from Falcon Renderer RT allocate descriptor set. So this basically like shouldn't really happen anymore. I think that function's still useful, although maybe not, because it uses just like a global descriptor pool, which we probably shouldn't use anymore. Let me switch to debug. Let's just quickly see who uses this. I'm going to stick a breakpoint here and just run it. I want to see who uses this function. I think it's going to be, I mean, I could just do find all references, but it's less fun. I mean, shaders for some reason do that, but I don't know if that's actually used. That might be also old code. Because this really shouldn't, this just, okay, this is just like a utility function that allocates a descriptor set for you in like the layout that you want. So that's really all it is. And the layout itself is from a specific set inside the shader. So that's kind of why. Yeah, so this is coming from HZB Compute. So yeah, so you can see this, for example, does it as well. So HZB does it. Let me just probably keep some notes. So we'll go over, because we're going to probably strip all of this out now. But it's going to be a bit of a challenge. So HZB Compute uses it. Then there's a few times pre-integration. I can see up here. So here it is as well. I'm just looking at the call stack, by the way, if you have no idea what I'm doing. This is still going. How many do we allocate here? Oh, it's because it's going through all the MIPS, isn't it? Yep. Alright. Pre-convolution compute as well. Lots of times for all the MIPS. So that's quite a fat stack of stuff. Oh, we got a little validation error. Why is this still happening? Oh, it's to do with those macros being weird. That's what it is. Because you can see this is dispatch, and it's probably maybe SSR is probably the compute pipeline. I was having some trouble with that. Is this, which one is this? Yes, it is, in fact, SSR that's giving us that issue. So we'll get on that, because I know all about that. Bloom, yeah, Bloom we knew. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Lots of Bloom everywhere. For all the MIPS, for downsampling and upsampling and everything it requires you to allocate a descriptor set, which I don't want to do. Another validation error. What's this one? That's just an image layout issue, that's easy. Did I fix that one though? Odd. And then that's HZB computer. Alright. So the solution basically is like what I want to do. Yeah, I'm enjoying the music. The music is what is the music? The music is well, just epidemic sound, like just yeah, jazz. That's it. Love me some jazz when it's yeah. Alright, yeah, so basically, if we look at Bloom, I'll start with Bloom because I wrote that, so I'm a bit more comfortable in this area. If we go through the Bloom, the reason why we end up doing this manually in Vulkan is because we need to basically obtain like an image. Where is this gonna be? We need to specifically like get, I think, an image view. I mean, what's this used for? Maps. So where's this used? Yeah. So you can see like we specifically need an image view to be bound to one of the MIPs. So this is like image 1 and then MIP image view for that specific MIP. And that's why, because the way that the Bloom works is as you kind of go down, you know, the chain and you downsample, it will basically read like the previous MIP and write it to the next MIP, and so on and so forth. And then upsampling does the same, but kind of in reverse, and like to a different texture, I think, or maybe not. Maybe it reuses the same texture. But anyway, so that and the problem is that we don't have a way in Hazel at the moment to represent essentially an image view. So we can just have an image, right? So we create an image for this. If we go up here, you can see we have Bloom textures. I don't know why they're textures and not images, but whatever. We have these Bloom textures which get passed in here, and Bloom textures which are created over here. They're texture 2Ds. But the problem is, what we need is we essentially need, like, it's fine that we create these textures and you can see it generates, that's why they're textures, because we need to generate MIPs, and I don't think we support that for images per se. Whatever. Anyway, the point is we create these textures, but what we really kind of want to do, like, that contains the full MIP chain, but then we need a way to address specific MIPs. So we need to kind of reduce the granularity of this so that it's not just like, we can't just tell a material, here is the texture. It would be better for us to basically, you know, have, I guess, have a material that needs to take in an input, but that input cannot just be, like, it doesn't just have to be an entire texture or image. It can be a specific, like, sub kind of area of that in the form of, like, one of the MIPs. So that's what we kind of need to create. Now, my idea for how we would do this is probably like we can just create this new thing called an image view. So we have like an image 2D. Maybe we should have an image view 2D. And an image view 2D can probably just be like, basically we'd kind of do something like spec dot, this would be its own thing, obviously. It would be like, well, we'd pass in an image, right? So the image would be like one of these guys, which I think we can get the image from that. And then, but would we do that? I guess, because in this case the image would contain all the MIPs. And then we can be like, what MIP would you like? And then you could be like, I want MIP 2. And so this just like, and there could be some other things that we do potentially, like if it's a layered image, because you can have like a texture array, then maybe you want to create a view of a specific slice of that as well. So like that's also something that it could handle. But for now, and like for a cube map, it could be like one specific face of it if you wanted. Like there's a lot of things that this could do. So it's not just going to be like for MIPs, but it could be in the beginning. And yeah, like API wise, we obviously already support the functionality because Bloom's working fine. It's a bit awkward from an API point of view because Hazel's API doesn't quite support that. And so you kind of have to do a bit of, a little bit of maneuvering, I guess, to get that to work. And you can see we even have like, for example, RT get MIP image view, which you can ask an image 2D to give you a MIP and it caches it as well per, per view. I'll probably make this a bit faster as well by doing this. But yeah, so you can see that will give you a view per level. Like, so you're gonna get one level, one MIP, and this is the index of the MIP. So we already have all this, and this just creates an image view, basically. So we just need to kind of wrap that in an object that we can then provide to a render pass, or a compute pass, or a material. And I don't know exactly how we'll set it up, but at least it will not require us to manually allocate a descriptor. Because I guess what we would do, like I'm guessing, it sounds a bit wasteful, but I feel like the way that you would make that work is you'd probably want to set up a material per pass, right? You'd have a material per pass. And so if your Bloom had like, 8 downsample passes or whatever, and 8 upsample passes, you'd basically create 16 materials. But the benefit is that those 16 materials would already have like all of the descriptor sets ready to go. And so you would just bind the one you need and you just go. But obviously if you don't do that, like obviously if you're doing what we're doing, you're actually setting it up. Now surprisingly, I'm pretty sure this is fairly fast. Like I don't think this is that slow. It's hard to, no, it's all inside this, isn't it? We could easily, like if I just go, how do I add a timer to this? Let's just go into like, I don't know, Vulkan present or something, or swap chain present. Because that's something that has, yeah, this. If I just put a little one of these guys in here, I'll just call this Bloom compute. I'll name it RT Bloom compute. If we just, let me go back up to here and get rid of that. If I just go back to the runtime, pretty sure I'm showing that, but just make sure I am. Where are the timers at? Here they are. Oh, it's false. Alright, so we should see them now. And that's going to obviously tell us the CPU time for that scope, which is running on the render thread. It's this garbage again. See, this is like, it's weird the way that it compiles these shaders. Don't know if that will work properly. No, it won't. Yeah, this is an unrelated issue, unfortunately, that happens sometimes. Does it just happen? Oh, I should have done release anyway. Does it just happen in debug? No, this will happen in release as well. What time is it for me? It's like 7:15 p.m. Okay, so this is upset because, probably because of, oh no, this can't be because of that. I think it's because, oh, actually, yeah, why is that upset? What does the log say? Nothing. Beautiful. Let's, do that again, and we'll see. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. We'll see why that failed. This might be hard. Oh, I went through it. Wait, is it not? It should be logging. I think it's... Oh, here it is. No, that's the verify. Okay. Yep. I might have disabled logging for that tag as well in the project settings. Yeah, so this is the problem. Oh, but I'm in release. Ugh, what am I doing? We might have to fix this issue before we progress, because it's a bit annoying. Okay, so what is this? This is the bloom dirt texture. And I guess it's null. And it's not an image 2D. It's a texture 2D. Ugh. Who cares, I think. But why is that only failing now, suddenly? Bloom dirt texture. Oh, it's because I commented it out. What? Okay, never mind. That's actually valid. Okay, what's your problem? Oh, this. Wait, what? Did I break this? Ah, because in that case it has to. Okay, let me change this. Oh, whoa. What the heck is this thing? Whoa, I did not know that was a thing. So I think that's for like JavaScript probably. That's basically this and this, all of these joined together. That's funny. Let's change this so that we just do that. Because I kind of broke that accidentally, and otherwise we'll create it. We'll create it and then we'll have to return it. So this actually gets put in though, doesn't it? Yeah, so there it is, per image map views. And then we're returning it. I'll just do that, whatever. As long as like we're optimizing the fast path, which is this kind of path up here, then that's fine. Sleepy. Just wanted to say before I go sleep. Nice, that's relevant. Found your channel through C++ videos, and those are helping me out so much. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for me thanking you. I mean, thank you for thanking me helping you. You're welcome. Alright. What's wrong with you? This was... I guess we should probably see what's up with this, shouldn't we? This is like the... What is this? Which one is this? So annoying. What? So, wrong. Descriptor binding 7, index 0. Yeah, well, binding 7 requires uint component type, but bound descriptor format is this. Okay. How did that go wrong? Which pipeline is this? SSR. Again, it's SSR. SSR is like, I don't know what's going on with that shader, but I feel like because we're like something macro is weird about it, and it's like, as in, there are some shader macros we're using, but the shader macro system is weird, I think, so it's compiling possibly without certain code enabled or disabled, and then the runtime's not sure what it compiled with, and because you can basically, there are some optional textures you can provide for that. Now, where's my scene renderer? Here it is. Now, so yeah, so this guy basically is optional, kind of, I think. And like, it's because it's behind this macro, so it's a little bit weird. I don't quite know what to do with that. But what seems to be, let's maybe look at the message again. What seems to be the problem is it like, and the thing is, it's binding 7, which is this guy here, right? We know it's this guy because this guy's they're always causing a problem. But the thing is, we haven't even set anything into that slot, and this should be disabled, right? I mean, I think I did this here. Oh, but no, but get AO method, GTAO enabled is true, so AO method would be true then, actually. because this is based on, oh, but this is a reflection occlusion method. This is this guy. So this is actually, yeah, and see, it's set to none, right? So if we set this to none, because I put, oh, that's in scene renderer. Oh, maybe that's why. Well, no, because I've set it to 0. So a reflection occlusion method should be 0, which means that this should obviously be false, so that shouldn't be included in the shader. But I think it is somehow, and that's the weird thing. So it's a bit unfortunate because, yeah, I need to figure out a better solution to that probably. But for now, I don't know, like if we bring this back, but it's going to be the wrong side. I don't know if it's even, it's up here. Let's see what happens. This will probably work, but it's a bit sus. Or is that the same error? No, so that's the, let's also fix this one. So this is happening because basically something is attempting to use, yeah, I thought I fixed this, man. Did I not fix this? So there should be a clear pass that does that. Yeah, look, it's here. Oh, but we potentially need shadow passes. No, but no, that doesn't make sense either, because this is different actually. This is, so this is, but what expects this? I like this music. So the shadow cascades texture is supposed to be, basically it hasn't been written to, is what's up. So we haven't actually rendered anything to it, and we're trying to sample from it. And it's definitely this guy. So what that means is somehow we wound up inside a geometry pass without having gone through it. Or maybe it's, oh, no, I know what it is, I think. I think it's because I reduced the cascades to 1 for dichotomy, but I may not have actually done that. Does this have anything? I already closed it. No, we don't use dynamic rendering. Yeah, see, it's array layer 1. So that must mean that it's still actually creating 4 of them. But I don't think it should be. Oh, yes it is. Okay. So this is different. This should be this. That's why. Because we always used to have 4 cascades, but now we can customize it. Because dichotomy only needs 1 cascade. And this is coming from where? This also might be from thingy. Yeah, it is. So it's supposed to do this. But hang on, what was it used for? Existing image. Let's just do this. See if that works. Yeah, let them dare is like next weekend. Alright. My session failed. Which one? Why did that not break then? Is this dead? What's going on? Ah, here it is. It's about to break. Alright, so get layer. This didn't work either. Oh, because we have an existing image. I guess the problem is that like we probably really want it to be an array. In fact, it's even taken it as a sample 2D array, but it's only got one thing in it. So that's a bit sus. So it kind of needs to be, I guess, 1. Yeah. Okay, so why is this here though? Depth attachment is not. Why is that? That's irrelevant. I don't think I added that code. Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like, I should have just skipped that, but I feel like that's fine. Because we're not using it for the Karim probably out of that little assert. Okay, and then something here is, oh right, because that's not gonna work potentially. But, oh, that size is 0. Well, yeah, I guess because it doesn't have it. But the reason why, so why is this, where are we? Why is that trying to do that? Ah, image get, yeah, so get layer image view, why? What a weird, we must be in a weird section. Where are we in the code? This is just invalidate. Oh, because layers is greater than 1. Get specification layers. So we must have also... No, layers is 1. Oh, right. Wait, what? Yeah, so it does... What? Yeah, okay. So that actually this is just a bit of a blunder. So, it's really only allowed to do this if that's true. Otherwise, it should do that. So, I mean, we can put that assert back. Let's try that. All right. Image view is null. Okay, that's not great. So I'm guessing this is the shadow pass. No, this is geometry pass. Okay. It's the geometry pass, but I'm guessing that I'm guessing that so if we take a look at the geometry pass, which is here, it's gonna have to take in, that's the pipeline, yeah, which I'll have to clean up later. It's gonna have to take in, yeah, this. So why is that wrong then? Because that shouldn't be. Let's take a look at this. I guess that's null or something. Can't be null, can it? No, it's not null. But I guess the image view was null? Oh, I think I might know why. No, actually we did invalidate it. So what did this do? This just created, yeah, I mean it just created this per layer image views. But we're not trying to use that necessarily, are we? No. So that, I mean, that kind of seems valid to me. I guess we can also just look at inside this image. We can take a look inside and see if it has... Yeah, so it doesn't have an image view, so it didn't actually create this for some reason. Even though it looks like it kind of should have. Or did it... Oh, did it just queue it up? Because I think... Yeah, invalidate does it on the render thread, that's why. So that's fine, because it should be there later. But I guess what that's telling us is that it's not there later. Because it's saying that image view must not be null handle. Why is it not telling me which one? But I guess we can look at these write descriptors to update. So one of these is null. So combine image sample and you can see image info is null. So that's what it is, index 2. That's valid. But why? Why doesn't it have... So I guess we can go back to image and look at RT invalidate, because clearly it didn't actually create the image view or anything. Which is odd, because it kind of looks like it definitely should have. I don't see how it wouldn't have. That's very strange, isn't it? Like, why would it not have? Okay, so let's see. Invalidated input resources. That was probably the... Oh, they're all there, yeah. But this guy doesn't have anything. So directional shadow map depth attachment 0. Yeah, has no... It doesn't exist. How? It's got a GPU allocation size, or does it? Is that seems way too big. It's kind of weird. That's so weird. I don't know why it didn't create my image. Cause look, like we invalidate it right here. Existing image. Actually, hang on, it might be a different one. Because we, yeah, I mean that would make sense. It might be this weirdo stuff that I've done here. But it shouldn't be, because it's depth attachment image as Vulkan. So, if existing... So, yeah, so it tries to do that, sure. But if existing image, which is true, then... Oh, but this is if it's even if it's not. But it does... Images depth attachment image. So that should have gotten set earlier. Yeah, into existing image, right? Because what I'm worried about is it may have created an image, maybe, but no, I don't think it did. Like there could be two images basically accidentally. What do we set it to? Because the thing is, like, if we create a frame buffer with existing image set to something, which we did here, then it basically just says depth attachment, if it's a depth format, to existing image, and that's it. And it doesn't call invalidate on it because it's an existing image and it should have already happened. And yeah, and we're in RT invalidate this, so that this should be after the initial image was already created. So basically, by the time we get here, we should have, like, the depth attachment image will be an existing image. And so to attachments, we place the image view from that image. So that should be there, right? And then when we ask for that image later, get output, then we basically will, yeah, we'll do this. Get depth image, and that just returns the depth attachment image from a file. So this is very, very strange. What's the difference between assert and verify? Assert is debug, like as in it will be triggered in debug and release. Sorry, it'll be triggered in debug only, but verify is both debug and release configurations, but not distribution. It's so weird that this has happened. I mean, we can take a look. The problem is, it's kind of hard to. What if it's because the usage is weird? I don't think so, though. No, that should be fine. Yeah, that's really weird. I've said that a bunch, but I honestly don't know why. I don't know why that image is not. Because I'm pretty sure we created it. But it's null. Actually, how are we storing this? What if we are just being weird about how we're storing it? I don't think we are, though. Because we're not exactly storing it, we're actually retrieving it from the image right here. That's an access violation. Yeah, because it's null. Probably shouldn't let it get to that point, but still. So it's clearly happening here, right? So, okay, how about we do this? hz core verify. I will do image info, image view. So we'll verify that that's. So we're gonna hit this now, obviously, but at least we'll be able to maybe debug. But it's so weird. Alright, so there's the verifier, because the image view is null. So this is the image, right? Does it have a name? Did we give it a name? Yeah, directional shadow map depth attachment 0. But is that what we called it? I feel like that's a different image. Because this didn't have a name. This was just called shadow cascades. See? This image is called shadow cascades. But this image is called directional shadow map depth attachment 0, which only happens if it gets created by the frame buffer. So this frame buffer is creating its own image. It's not using this existing one, and that's why it's not working. Which, by the way, like, I mean, it can do that. I'm still not sure why that image happens to be null, though. Because even if it does create its own image, that should be okay. Right? Like... Oh, it's because we don't actually create the frame buffer here. We then go here and we do existing image layers in place back I. So that's why, I guess. Existing image layers is a thing. Yeah, so the thing is, like... This should probably work very differently if it's on... If it just has one shadow map versus a whole bunch of them. because like this just isn't necessary. So, but this must be, I don't know if it's worth making this work. But does it matter that you have these now? So it must not have, I guess this is kind of what happened. RT invalidate happens if that's not present, but if it is, then it does this, maybe, and then that's a bit of a different path. So let's, and then we just create it, yeah. So basically all that it's doing here is it does have an existing image layers specified. So what does that affect? But it's only used in these, it's only here, isn't it? Oh no, it's here as well. So this must be what's happening. But isn't that what we just did? I don't get that. That shouldn't matter though. It doesn't look like it should matter. This just means it refers to a particular instance of that, or a particular layer, I guess, of that image. But if the image only has one layer, so that's just checking to make sure you only have one, yeah, because you can actually have a subset. But you've set existing image though. But this doesn't actually, this just affects the attachment that's sent to Vulkan. It doesn't affect the other thing. So if existing frame buffer is full, I guess what we should do, honestly, is let's just step through it, because it's getting a little bit challenging to try and read that all. So this is where the frame buffer gets created. Now half of it will kind of probably get sent to the render thread, maybe, but we'll see what happens. So existing frame buffer is false. We have one attachment, so we're gonna go through this. Existing image is true, but this only happens if the layers is greater than 1, which it's not. So therefore we go to finding this. Existing images, but existing images isn't here because there's only one existing image. So actually it goes here and it creates a new depth image. Okay, that's what happens. So I don't actually think layers has to be greater than 1 here. I don't know why that would be there, this code. Let's just remove this. Let's try that. This might work. So this is why stepping through the code is so much better. I mean, I talked about this in a video recently. Best way to read code or whatever. But, yeah, it's nice. Okay, so, okay, that's actually correct now. That's just because the shader actually needs to be compiled differently depending on, like, the variant here. So, this is a bit annoying. Because I don't know how we would do this. Because again, as I said, macros are annoying, so therefore... Because basically, like, in our shader... I don't even know where this is declared. No, here. See, this is marked as a sampler 2D array, which it should be because we have cascaded shader mapping, but in dichotomy, for example, where we don't have that, it needs to be a sampler 2D because it's just one texture. I don't know if we could still treat it as an array of size 1, but probably not. Like, we should specifically have, like, a cascade and, like, it should know how much. But the thing is, like, you know, if we did something like if, you know, shadow cascades or whatever, is. We could probably do something like this. But again, that requires us to compile the shader differently, which means that you kind of have to set the setting. You either ship with 2 variants of the shader, because we don't compile shaders at runtime. So you either ship with 2 variants of the shader, compiled with different macros, or you what? Or you just ship with 1 variant, but then you have to choose in the editor how many cascades you want, and then that's set in stone. So this is kind of what we'd have to do, I guess. And I don't know, we could obviously do, if you were really cool, you could do something like this. That looks a bit disgusting though. We could try that, but the thing is the runtime's gonna have... Ugh, I don't know if I want to deal with this now. Because the runtime, like... Yeah. Should probably make this work in the editor first anyway. Let's... I'll keep this, but I'll put it back to this. And like the thing is, like I could obviously just be like, whatever, you know, let's... Why does this not work? Ugh, GTAO as usual. What the heck's wrong with this though? It just won't create the compute pipeline. Did the shader not compile, or... Resources shaders. Oh, it's probably my... Is it my... Well, my working directory is set to that. It's trying to load this though. But it shouldn't be using a shader pack. So therefore that should have worked. Yeah, it's not. Don't know why nothing's working today. I'm in release. Let me try debug. Yeah, so basically, yeah, I mean, this probably needs some decent design because we don't really support this yet exactly. So I guess the compile didn't succeed. Ugh, this has happened before. Yeah, okay, so this looks like these guys don't have null termination characters. Well, actually, no, it's probably just the logging. Why is it upset with this, though? Oh, no, it is. It's defined to 0 with that there. Ah, okay, I think I know what that is. That's probably because I did this. And I guess that, but that's weird, isn't it? That's weird though. This should provide a non-terminated string here, right? what happens if I do this? Will that still cause the same issue? No, that worked, I think. Or did it? I think it did, but this is upset because it's missing something now because it does need some... Well, actually, this is the compute pass. So let's see what the compute pass wants. Should just turn on the logging again. Okay, here we go. So, what's this resource? It's a uniform buffer. What? What? This is missing an entire uniform buffer? How? These are valid. Oh, it's because it compiled it into a different name. Because that happens as well. Oh, that's so weird though. Why it does that? I still couldn't figure that out. There's this weirdo thing that happens sometimes, guys, where basically, like, so, you know, I have, because this GTAO shader, this GTAO compute shader is written in HLSL, even though, like, we've named the like the camera buffer, so it includes buffers.hlsl, and then we have something called like camera here, right? But sometimes, and usually, like it takes it, like it, the reflection data will actually have that name there. But occasionally, what somehow happens, I don't know how, but what sometimes happens, and that's the problem. It's sometimes. I don't know why. Is that basically it will, where is this in here? Maybe it's not here. Input declarations. Here we go. Yeah, see? It will call it this. Type.constantBuffer.camera instead of just camera. And so the thing is, though, the weird thing is sometimes it is just that. Because when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll just change it to that, so it's happy, because it just matches the string, right? But then the next time around, it wasn't this. Which is, like, ridiculous. Why is it doing that? I don't know, I guess we can try it again. So what I'll do is I'll delete the shader cache. And let's see what happens. Oh, and actually while I'm at it, let me maybe go into, I guess, here. Where's the project file? And let's set the renderer to trace. Maybe not trace, one. Or maybe info. Trace is way too. Trace is like log me every render pass as it happens, basically. So now it's gonna compile everything. I guess it takes a while. And maybe it will actually tell us what the thing is. Why is it so slow, man? Look at this. That's crazy. That's like slower than usual. What the heck? Now it's going faster. Weird. Okay, there's GTAO. Yeah, look, see, it's type.constantBuffer. Why? Oh, so that's not gonna work. That's so strange, man. The fact that it sometimes happens. Oh. Does it depend on like the version of the compiler? Or something? version of the shader compiler, maybe? I don't know. Okay, and so this isn't working. What passes this? AO composite. And I guess that doesn't have an input that it wants or something. Yeah, it's these macros being weird is what it is. Let's try that. And that. See if that makes any difference. Times are tough sometimes. That's just the way it is. It's so slow as well. Man, something weird is going on. What could it be? I don't know. Yeah, see, that's wrong again. It's because it doesn't have a null termination character. Why not? So what does it set it to? Global shader macros. It's a bunch of strings. So where is this used? In the shader compiler. So here it is, global macros, and we add macro definition, which takes in a string, and that string, of course, is going to have a null termination character, right? So add macro definition is, yeah, obviously from that's part of shader C. There's name length, but we're not using that version. I think we're using this version. So it should do name string name.size. Well, yeah, I mean it should be. I just don't know why that's happening. That seems so weird. So strange. just having a think about what this could be. Milk, we support Linux, thanks to Emily, who's in chat, I see as well. Hello. So, yeah, Linux, Hazel works on Linux. Probably put up a video soon about that, maybe after Ludum Dare. Maybe we can, hopefully we can ship our Ludum Dare game on Linux as well. That's so strange, man. That's so strange. Like, how can that not work, though? The size, I mean, the size is 1, right? Like, what the heck? How are you not working? I mean, actually, that's preprocessed GLSL. Where's preprocessed HLSL? Maybe it's different. Oh my gosh, I think it is different. Oh. Okay, so here they are, these global macros. Alright. So it creates this thing called but it does +1. Maybe it doesn't initialize it to 0. I think I found the problem luckily. So here's our buffer, and it does have it's allocated, looks like, and these are wide charts. It's allocated with enough space for a null termination character, but it doesn't actually add it. So there it is. So that just probably worked by chance before. Again, I didn't write this code. So we need to make sure we put that in. Is that right? I think so. Validate that. What's up, Peter? That's still a problem. Did I do the wrong thing? Wait, why is it times 2? Why is it times 2? Oh, because they're wide chars. Yeah, so that makes sense, right? Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, because this, I'm guessing, respects that. Therefore, we copy that amount of wide characters, which is... No, but these are already wide characters, so why is it times 2? Because this is not... We're not allocating bytes here. So, I think that looks like a bug to me. Let's try that. Okay, that's correct. All right. fix the weird naming though. Which means that this probably won't work. Yeah, because this isn't called camera, it's called like stupid, stupid, stupid. Why is it so annoying? And didn't I say like log? Why is it not logging? Or am I opening something else here? No, I'm opening LD51. Ah. Oh, is that fine? That's fine, yeah. Yeah, so I set that. Why is that not? That's a warn. It's not being printed. Even though, I'm pretty sure I set you to info, you pile of garbage. So why are you not logging? Oh, it's because it hasn't loaded the project config. It probably has. Lower filter is error. Didn't think so, man. Shouldn't be. What tag is this? Tag is renderer. How strange. Anyway, so it's return false because I already did that. Okay, back you go. Start again. Whoa, not that far. Ugh, alright, I give up. Go away. Do that again. Yeah, type's uniform buffer, and it's because the name is different. The name is this type.constant buffer garbage. Why is this the case? Ugh. The weirdest thing is that it's not consistent though. That's like the thing that's really, really weird about it. It just does not seem to be consistent at all. Which is super weird. Like, I don't know what to do about that. Because, like, why does it sometimes compile with those names? Like, what does that depend on? Oh, is it debug versus release shader compiler? Let me try something. So that was debug, yeah? Let me try release. Because here's the funny thing, right? It doesn't, like, obviously it caches the shaders. So you can compile it in release, like as in using the release binaries of the shader compiler, and then switch your configuration to debug, and it will read the cached copies that were already compiled by the release version, even if you're in debug. Because it doesn't matter, obviously, the result is the same. If that's the case, that's going to be absolutely absurd. Let's try this. No way is this going to happen. It's so fast as well. Look how fast that was in release mode. Oh my gosh, it is, guys. Guys, what the heck? So shader C, debug versus release, produces different variable names. And no, I'm not talking about variable names because and I'm not talking about compiling the shaders with optimization on. So you're not compiling the shaders in a different configuration. It's the shader compiler binaries that are in a debug versus a release build. What the heck? That is absurd. That's so weird. Let me just validate this real quick. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm right, but let me just confirm this. So if I just take this GTAO shader for a bit, let's just drag it up to the top, and let's, like, I don't know, put a breakpoint here. I'm gonna switch to debug, and then I'm gonna delete my cached compiled shaders, and I'm gonna hit F5. So, yep. So check this out. So the name of it in debug, so I'm in debug right now, right? And the name is type.constantBuffer.camera and type.constantBuffer.screenData, right? My other kind of variable names are fine, but the type kind of names are that, yeah? And then if I switch to release, so I'm using the release like SPURV binaries, and I run my code, which will compile the shaders in the same configurations, obviously. It's just using different SPURV, but it's using a different compiler binary. Then, oh no, it is still that. What? Wait, did I delete the cache? I did delete the cache, right? What? So now it's the same. But didn't it just work? Now it doesn't work again. What? You guys saw it work. It was working. You saw Hazelnut open without an issue. Because the names were correct. But now they're wrong again. I thought it was debug versus release, but it's not. What on earth? How? Do I just try this again and it will just work once? Eventually? This is ridiculous. I mean, now it's gonna load the cached versions. It's not even telling us what it is because it's not compiling the shaders again. What? I don't understand why it worked before. What was the difference? There's no difference. There can't be any difference. This is like the weirdest thing ever. Again, it's only happening with the HLSL shaders, but like, because some of our shaders are GLSL. What if it's... Okay, how about this? What if we put this back to where it was? So now it's down here. And now let's compile it. Because that's the only other thing I did. I know it's silly, but I don't know what else to do. I mean, no, it's wrong. Switch to debug real quick. Try it again. This is so weird. Unfortunately, I have to wait for everything to compile here. But look, the storage buffers look fine, the names. Look, wait, but what about the rest of the uniform buffers? Oh, but no, it's because it's not an HLSL. These are GLSL shaders, that's why the names are fine. Because remember, it's just an HLSL shader thing. And yeah, they're wrong. What if I just, because I could also do, I think you can do force compile, so if you do, and there's also optimization, we could try that as well. So let's, first of all, let's do a force compile. So now we don't have to delete the shader cache. That's wrong. And let's do force compile, but optimization, disable optimization true, so that will do not optimization, just in case. But it should take the reflection data from the non-optimized version anyway. So I don't know if this will produce a difference. No, it doesn't. So they're always wrong here, it seems. Special macros. Bro, I don't get this at all. This is so weird. You guys saw it work though. It worked once. We link different versions of DXC and stuff, right? Like for debug and release. Where are the dependencies? Shader C. So yeah, there is a different one, but it doesn't seem to matter though, that's the thing. Like now I just don't get it because it's not like it, my theory seems to have been wrong. Maybe I should watch back my live stream and see what I did, but I don't think so. That's so weird. Oh. Wait. No. Well, and see, like the runtime is different because the runtime doesn't compile any shaders. It uses something called a shader pack, which is like, that's the compiled kind of shaders in like one binary file, along with like reflection data and everything. So that's what we ship. That's what the runtime uses. But I'm running the editor, which can compile shaders, obviously, and it's the thing that creates these shader packs, if you tell it to. It's so weird, man. This is so weird. And the thing is, like, obviously, like, by the way, like, if this was in fact the thing, like, I could be like type.constantBuffer.camera and type.constantBuffer.screen data, and I think pre-integration, that kind of pass also uses that. So, I don't know what sets it though. But like, if I run that, like, see, that works because I changed the way that we treat them. And so that will work. But the thing is only sometimes. So, therefore, I don't know what to think. Wait, why is this working? Because aren't we using one... Why is this working? Because aren't we using one... Like, didn't we still... Like, the shadow cascade thing. Wasn't that just not working because it was not a sampler to the array? Oh, no, it's because we're using 4 cascades here. Yeah. Because the editor has got a different configuration. So, see, that's red, and it will change colors because, yeah. Create a plane or something. Actually, I don't know if we can. Ugh, where's static mesh? Sure, a pressure plate. Oh, that's the mesh source. Incorrectly spelled pressure plate. Oh, but that's red. But still, you can see the different shadow cascades on it. I didn't fix it, by the way, guys. Like, I just changed the name to something that doesn't work half the time. If it, like, it's fine if it was like that forever. That would be okay. But the thing is, it doesn't, it seems to, like, you saw it randomly work before as well. Which means that the name was without the, like, type dot. The name is sometimes this and sometimes that. And I don't know why. Okay, does it run fine in release mode? Well, it runs fine in both modes now. Let me just try and, for fun. Let's try and delete the shader cache and run again. So this will... No way. Where's the GTAO shader, guys? Oh no, that's correct. So, but it's saying it's not. And why are these null? What? What the heck's going on? I've hit a verify. These are null somehow. How are they null? They get like created up here. What's going on? This is just possessed. What the heck? And my logging is not working. Nothing is working. How are these null, bro? Are you having a laugh? They get created like up here. And they're null apparently. All of this is null apparently. Dude, this is cooked. Man, you know what? Let's do a clean build. Let's do a clean build. Cause this is messed up. Let's do a clean build. We'll do a squeaky clean debug build. There is a back button in Visual Studio. It's up here, top left, or Alt, left arrow, or the mouse. I just don't always use it because sometimes it's a bit finicky. You guys enjoying this stream? What do you guys think of this kind of live stream? I think it's pretty chill. I mean, I've always done these kinds of streams, but just on Twitch, not YouTube. Yeah, so those names are consistent. Okay, and yet it didn't work. Now, okay, so this is now correct, but why did this not work? Because the names are correct. So let's go into there now. We are in a debug build, so we can do that easily. I don't know why it's not logging, though. Okay, so this is what we expected, because the name is camera. Wait, why is the name... Oh, so now it's... But... Bro, what? But the reflection data says it's not that. What? But the reflection data says it's that, which is what I provided it with. Look. See? But now, inside here, it's telling me, right, that the name... Look. It doesn't have the type.constant buffer. Wait. Wait. So maybe what's printed here isn't necessarily what's there, but how? It's literally the name. How could we be printing different things? How does it get these input? We're getting closer, guys. How is it getting these input declarations? Name. Okay, it goes through shader descriptor sets, right? Descriptor sets. And see, it's different. So shader descriptor, right descriptor sets. Where does that get it from? Vulkan shader resource. Let's go to Vulkan shader and see. This gets yeah, uniform buffer name. Uniform buffer name. And uniform buffer is where? Shader descriptor set uniform buffers. Where does that come from? Well, potentially, this is for the shader packs. It tries and read it from the binary, but what about for not shader packs? It's got to be from Vulkan shader, right? Oh, sorry, shader compiler. Right? Uniform buffer name, resource name. So yeah, this is coming from Vulkan shader reflection. No, but that doesn't make sense because Vulkan shader reflection, this is us printing it. This is this. And you can see what the name is. We're printing it. Look, this is it printing. This is us printing it. Name. We use name to print it. The same name that's set here. Wait, is it because of this ridiculous, stupid map that we have that I should have removed like 2 years ago? That basically makes sure that we don't have any conflicts, but no, that can't be it. What fallback name? Oh my gosh, I think I know what it is. But that doesn't make sense either, because the shaders are compiled in the same order. It is, I think it's because of this. Ah, that's such a weird system. No. I think it's always that. I think the difference is that sometimes, because of this weirdo system that we had since the OpenGL days, which isn't that weird, but it kind of is. I think what matters here. Let's add some stuff here. I'll add it as a warning. Let's just say uniform buffer, blah blah. So, I mean, that's just gonna be named twice, but whatever. I'll be explicit. Do we have a set descriptor set binding? Okay, and then the difference here is since that exists, we check the name from here. I think I know what the deal is. I don't think it's the fallback names. I think it's because it's whoever gets to that binding and set first. If it's a GLSL shader, then it's one name. If it's an HLSL shader, it's another name. But what I don't understand is that the order should be predictable. So I think what will probably happen here, if we actually scroll up to the GTAO shader, maybe I can quickly beat it. I don't know if I beat it or not. Yeah, no, I missed it. But it doesn't matter, I think. Or maybe I didn't. I did beat it. Yep. See, look. Uniform buffer type.constantBuffer.camera at 20 already exists using name camera. That's why. It's always this name, but in this case it's using the name camera because something else already occupied slot 20. And the way that we treat uniform buffers in Hazel, again, because of the OpenGL days, because if you remember, OpenGL is all weird about global uniform buffers, but Vulkan isn't. But still, we kind of, because so many render passes use the same descriptor sets, we kind of, basically anything in descriptor set not 0, you're only allowed one instance of it, basically. So you're not allowed to put anything else in descriptor set 2 binding 0 apart from this one buffer. That's why. So something else clearly, so yeah, so see, this same thing happened here, but one of these guys created the camera. The first one would have. But what I don't understand is why clearly this didn't seem to happen before when we ran it. I mean, remember we did make GTAO the first shader and that changed the behavior, and that makes sense. But so see, the first thing to do it is the PBR shader, Hazel PBR static, and because that's a GLSL shader, it just creates this. The name is camera, and that's it. And now whatever we look at, slot 20, basically it has to be called camera. Like, well, and even if it's called something else, it's going to take the name camera, because that's what happens at the moment. And it is a bit of a weird behavior, because if you make a new shader that is completely custom and you for some reason want to use set 2 for something else, but it's kind of reserved by the renderer, that's why. That's why you're not really allowed to do that. But if you were, then this would be a weird system. And also, like, it does technically work for set 0, even though it shouldn't, because set 0 is owned by the material. That's how we treat it. And you can see we do this for uniform buffers and storage buffers, which is kind of weird, yeah. Again, this is from OpenGL days when basically uniform buffers and storage buffers really were like this. They were kind of global. But they're not obviously in Vulkan. So that's what that's left over from. Okay, well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that, because that was ridiculous. But what I don't understand then is why my code doesn't work if this is the first guy. Oh, you know why though? Wouldn't it be because of the... Bro. Oh my gosh, I know why. That is the stupidest thing ever. It's because Vulkan Shader Compiler obviously compiles the code. So if it's already compiled, it doesn't need to do that. That's wild. So what that means, basically, is if I run this, check this out. If I run this in release, this should work perfectly right now. Yeah? Let's check this out. This is actually messed up. If I run this... Okay, it didn't work perfectly. Oh, that's because this is wrong. So let me go back to the normal names, yeah? Camera and screen data. Yeah? Let's run that. This should work... let me delete the cache again, just to validate it. But this should work perfectly fine. Yep, we're up. No problems, no Vulkan validation errors, nothing. Everything's fine. Now, if I then, yeah, go to the GTAO shader and make a change, no matter how subtle, let's add a space, yeah? That will force a recompile. But obviously, the Hazel PBR shader, okay, that worked. I was sure that would fail. Or maybe, what if we change a macro? So what if I, like, I don't know, add another no, but the macro would not. Let's get rid of this now, and let's try and run this. Will that work? Because, but that should recompile all the shaders, shouldn't it? If the macros change. But that works as well. What if I change this to like 1? Aha, now we're getting a cert. Yeah, because... And yeah, and you can see that's going to be an assert because of these guys now. And basically now it won't work unless I bring that back, I think. Yeah, and see now it works. So now it works with these names. That is actually hilarious. Now it works with these names. And the reason for that is because I changed the macro and forced that shader to be recompiled. I'm not sure why the... It's not random code execution order. So this works now with this because I deleted the shader cache. But I guess if I go into here and I change something, but I tried that before and it didn't seem to recompile it. But, you know, let's change this to be like, I don't know, 8. That's gonna recompile the shader, right? It has to, surely. Yeah, and see, that doesn't work. My space must have not made a difference or something. I don't know why it didn't do that. Whew. So basically, guys, don't, like, but if you completely delete the shader cache, then it's fine. But was it always fine? But if I go back to that, that's gonna break it. That plus the null termination bug was what was causing all these problems. No, that worked. But, like, the thing is, oh, did it work though? That's black for some reason. Because that, like, if you change a macro, I think it might have to recompile all the shaders. It's not black anymore. Ugh, that's weird, man. Your ID probably didn't save a change to white space. Maybe, but I feel like it should have. So, yeah. Alright, well, I'm glad that's kind of working now. Wait, so if I build the shader pack now, So let's build the shader pack with, so that will just compile, that will just create like a shader pack, which is here. If I now go into here, and this is where I'm running this, right? If I overwrite that, and I go back to the runtime, oh, but the runtime with one cascade isn't going to work at the moment. No, it is apparently. Maybe that's because I'm in release mode. And so it's not doing the... Well, my shadows do seem to be there. That's definitely a shadow that I see here. Whoa, almost made it. Yeah, I don't know. We basically have to, yeah, we have to, I think we have to treat shader, like, we have to add, like, some kind of shader variant system or something. So that we can properly, like, you know, properly deal with that. Because otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. How we would maybe support, like, having just a single shadow map instead of, like, cascaded shadow mapping, you know, for a game like this, because you don't need cascaded shadow mapping. Oh yeah, so remember we put a timer into Bloom Compute? There it is. I never showed that because we couldn't get it running. But you can see it's very, very fast, right? 0.05 milliseconds of CPU time is that entire section of Bloom Compute, which does like 20 different compute shader dispatches to do the downsampling and the upsampling. And that also allocates descriptor sets and updates descriptor sets. And you can see that it's 0.05 milliseconds. Like it's very fast, right? So that's why like I wasn't too concerned with it. But because that's done once per, you can actually see it says 1 times. This is how many times these functions are called. So you can stick a timer in any function and it will tell you how many times it's called. As well as the cumulative, like the sum of all, like the sum of all the time that it took within 1 frame, obviously. So yeah, because it's done once per frame, it's fine. Obviously, because Bloom is like a screen space effect, but if it was... But like materials, on the other hand, are obviously kind of... Material preparation has to happen per draw. So that's the difference, and that's why it was so important to optimize and do what I did before. Will we get a standalone executable of Hazelnut in the near future? Short answer, yes, but I don't know about near future. Like, I don't know when exactly. But yes, we are planning to do that. Why is get asset so slow? Well, it's called 614 times in 1 frame, and it's not that slow. It's like 14 microseconds. Have you guys thought about adding bindless textures into the renderer? We have that for path tracing, but like the thing is, it's not really widely supported as far as I'm aware. So like it's not really something, it's something you would only really have for the top tier GPUs. I don't know, maybe that's changing, maybe more drivers support it these days, but it wasn't something that you could just do everywhere because it requires some Vulkan extensions so that you can have like not descriptor sets that are, or descriptors that are null and stuff. How did you make your game engine so fast? I have a video that I put out 24 hours ago on my YouTube channel, which tells part of that story. Will you try to join a game jam? Obviously not the next one, lol, with the game engine that you have built from the YouTube series. Oh, maybe when it's more done. But yes, maybe. That would be kind of fun. I was going to do that. Like, I was going to maybe make like a Cherno dare. My own game jam. And then have you guys use like the free version of Hazel or something. But that's in the future. Not quite now. Yeah, Hazel has, like, there's a branch of Hazel that has path tracing. Using like Vulkan RTX, well, Vulkan ray tracing. Are there functional differences between dispatches in OpenGL and Vulkan? If you're talking about like compute shaded dispatches, well, the thing is, like, OpenGL, like, Vulkan allows you to, the biggest difference probably, apart from how resources are handled using descriptor sets, is the fact that there's like there's an explicit compute queue that you can use for dispatches, which OpenGL is a bit more behind the scenes with that. And so what that means is that, like, you don't have to use it. Like, we actually don't use it in Hazel. So in other words, all of our compute shaders actually are submitted to the graphics queue, which is not ideal, but it's easier to deal with, because obviously it's kind of like, it's not multi-threaded in a way. It's not kind of like multi-threaded or parallel on the GPU, because if it's all in the graphics queue, it all kind of happens one after the other. But if you are doing stuff concurrently, if you are submitting it to the compute queue, and the graphics queue is obviously running concurrently to that, you need some extra synchronization, which I haven't really looked into much in Hazel yet. But that's like one difference, I guess. But other than that, there's not that many differences, because it's, you know, the thing with these APIs like OpenGL and Vulkan is that at the end of the day, it's kind of like the actual, like, it's kind of up to the GPU driver to implement all the behavior anyway. So the thing is, like, the GPU side of things, like, you basically have the same feature set. What's really different about Vulkan is the CPU side of things, because obviously the API is different, and the API is what you write in C++. So, like, that part is very different. But what the GPU is doing, like, you still have the same shaders, you still have the same, like, it's still kind of, the driver still does a lot of similar things. So really the biggest performance boost is going to be on the CPU. But then you also get, like, you know, ray tracing, which I don't know if there are ray tracing extensions for OpenGL. I don't really think there are, or at least not all of them. But, like, you know, that they're also vendor specific. Does it have any denoiser for ray tracing or just bare bones? No denoiser yet. But yeah, again, I was explaining that the reason why I started working on path tracing and GI and stuff in Hazel was because we were going to make a game that would use that tech, but we're making a different game now, so Studio Cherno, I mean. So therefore, we don't really need it. And I moved on to other things because there's lots of other stuff to do. But that was fun, and I'll get back to that eventually. Could you make a video teaching how to create a GUI in C++? I watched your other videos on that, but I was too confused to know how to use it. Well, I have that best way to make desktop applications in C++ video. I thought that was pretty straightforward. Maybe give that a watch on half speed. Am I going to continue the ray tracing series? Yes, eventually. But not... I've been busy, obviously, with other things. That's why I haven't been doing that. Is Vulkan ray tracing in Hazel used for baking light maps, or is it real time? It's, well, the version that I have is not used for baking light maps yet. It will be. But it's kind of real time. Like, it's kind of, like, it's not, it's still it still accumulates over different frames, but it's a lot faster than like the ray tracing series because this is running on RTX cores. Okay. I guess we can wind it down the stream because I'm pretty tired and I want to go home. So I can do a bit of a Q&A now, Q&A stream for the last like 10 minutes or so. Okay. So ask your questions. Let's see. Let's position them in a decent spot. Maybe a bit off topic, but what was the moment when you decided to start recording videos instead of just solo deving? Well, I actually started making videos basically as I started learning programming. So like 12 years ago in 2011, when I picked up Java for Dummies and I started like learning programming, basically 3 months later, I started making videos being like, hey, what's up guys? Let me show you what I've been learning and also teach it to you. And that's kind of when it began. So basically immediately. I was like 16 at the time. Will you still use Twitch? I don't know, like I've kind of been into the YouTube streaming lately. I don't know why, it's just something new. And yeah, it's been nice. You know, most of my audience is on YouTube. You can stream at a high quality on YouTube. You can rewind streams. Just kind of, and the VODs stay up obviously, and it's just kind of nice to stream on YouTube, to be honest. For those of you who like want me to stream on Twitch, can I ask why? Like, what is the? Because obviously, like, there's no difference for me, because I don't. It's just like, do I stream to YouTube or Twitch? Like on, you know, in my streaming software, it's the same thing. But like, and like obviously there are some features that are different. Like you can raid streams and do whatever on Twitch. But aside from that, like, what's the difference? Like, to the viewer of my streams, because I watch other streams, but for that, yeah, see the Twitch ads thing is huge. That sucks. Like, you basically watch like 4 ads in a row on Twitch when I look at someone else's stream. So that's really annoying. YouTube is better. Well, yeah, like, I mean, I like you. I think I like YouTube more. I mean, I know I'm streaming on YouTube and asking people if they like YouTube more, and it's a bit biased, but like, you know, I don't think that if you're watching the stream on YouTube, you're necessarily loyal to YouTube. Was it hard to migrate your render engine to AMD GPUs? Because I'm thinking of making my engine more GPU cross-platform, and if it's worth the effort. It wasn't hard, but it did take like a week, I think, when I eventually bit the bullet and got an AMD GPU like for the office. And actually, Tim used to use that, but Tim has since switched to a 1080 Ti because he's had enough of AMD. And I'm not exaggerating, like his Photoshop was crashing and flickering black sometimes, like Photoshop, you know? And you know, I was like, and he was like just being like really annoyed at Adobe. And I mean, rightfully so, because Adobe, like, I mean, Premiere Pro is the worst software in the world and I hate it so much, and DaVinci is so much better. But anyway, I was like, nah, that's probably not Adobe. Like, just slap in the 1080 Ti. And he just slapped it in, restarted his computer, and that's it, gone, fixed. So Tim had enough of that, but we'll still do have it in one of our computers that we basically use like for testing and stuff. But initially when we first got it, like, yeah, I spent like a week because I basically booted up Hazel. I think I got a few Vulkan validation errors that were new, but also the biggest problem was that like it just looked weird. Like, well, okay, there were 2 problems. One of them was there were weird black triangles everywhere, which if you actually, I think, watched the early days of Tim, like, because Tim had it on his computer, he had the AMD card in his computer. So when he like was working on Forest, I think for like Ludum Dare 50, there were like these weird black triangles in places, and I think that's just because something was wrong with our shadow map, and I forgot exactly what the problem is, but we fixed that. I managed to track that down. But initially, I think the biggest problem was bloom was really weird. Like, it was like ghosting. Like, it looked like it was, you'd move the camera and it was like smearing around. And the reason why that was the case is because I had no image barriers between my compute dispatches, even though I was reading the last MIP and writing to the next MIP in the same kind of image. And so I guess NVIDIA was just like, sure man, like I see what you're trying to do. I know you like have missed half the code you needed to actually write to make that happen, but I got you fam. Like you're good. But then AMD is like, screw you, man. I don't have your back. I'm AMD. You better write better code. So, and that's the thing, like you can't, like for those things, you can't really blame AMD because like, yes, according to the Vulkan spec, I should have done this and that. But it's nice that NVIDIA's a homeboy. Like NVIDIA has your back, you know? And that's just why I think they're superior. All right, have you tested on an Intel GPU before? Yes, it doesn't work. We have some issues with Intel GPUs. But I do want to do that eventually. How deep do you think you're going to go with your ray tracing series? Oh, I don't know. Like, I would love to go really deep, but I can't, in good conscience, make that business decision because, like, real talk here, like those really super deep, niche kind of technical videos, they don't really make the company any money. Like, it's like it's very not profitable for me. And I say the company because like obviously like Studio Cherno is like, you know, we're a business. Like we have Peter here in chat who desperately needs his paycheck to survive. We have Tim who's like been living on the street. No, I'm just kidding. No one's living on the streets. But the point is they will be if I don't make money. And then obviously like this office space is not gonna pay rent itself. So the point is like, as much as I'd love to, you know, have no concern for any of that, like I still need to run this as a business, and those kind of like really in-depth series, like they just don't get the views, they don't get the kind of like, I know you guys are really appreciative of it, and I love making them. Like, to be honest, I love making them, even if it is at a little bit of a loss, so to speak. Like, I like making them. But the thing is, like, what I've kind of realized, I think, is that in the future, if I do stuff like that, maybe I should just sit down and make like a complete, finished kind of premium course, you know, not like an $800 course, you know, not something like that is completely not accessible to anyone, but maybe like I don't know, like a $50, $99 kind of course, you know, something like less than $100 probably, that is obviously complete so that you're not waiting for episodes. And also that way, like, I'd probably justify spending that much time on it. So that's kind of like, you know, the ray tracing series will still continue. I'm not going to just halfway through the ray tracing series be like, oh yeah, pay me money now. But like in the future, if I do kind of really in-depth niche kind of series like that, which I would love to do, like, I just don't think YouTube's the place for it. Like, it just doesn't really work. So, that's why I kind of can't really focus on that stuff. And like the thing is, obviously, like I know that a lot of the loyal kind of people who are maybe here to learn and they love that kind of stuff, like think that's a bit of a shame. But at the end of the day, like it is kind of, and I know that those videos are sponsored and stuff, but it is kind of free content. And the thing is, the way that YouTube works and the way that YouTube is kind of set up is that, like, I mean, you guys see the kinds of videos that are very successful on YouTube. Like a lot of the times it's kind of like, it's just like entertaining kind of short form videos. And, you know, even like with my own kind of experience in mind, when I've made videos, this is the other really frustrating thing, right? Like a lot of the times, and I think I've mentioned this on live streams before, but whatever. Like a lot of the times I will work my ass off for like weeks on a video, and I'll make it, it's really good video, yeah, and like, and it'll get like X amount of views, and then the next day I'll just make myself like, with no preparation, just kind of like almost vlogging, but like, you know, just like reading some code or like doing like a code review live, obviously, like live in the sense that like I have never read the code before, no preparation required. I sit down, hit record, quickly edit it. I can be done within like, I don't know, maybe takes me like 20 minutes, like half an hour to record, half an hour to edit, because I usually edit on like 2x speed and stuff. 1 hour of work, and it will get like 5 times the views of like a video that I might spend like weeks on. And it's just like, and that's fine, because obviously in a way that means that you guys enjoy that content more, I guess, maybe. But it also means that like the fact of the matter is that there are way less people, like more people want to just open up a YouTube video of probably like, you know, me just doing a code review and just something they can kind of watch while they're having dinner or just in their break or in bed or whatever, versus like on their phones, versus like sitting down to do a ray tracing course. You know, that's just like, it's just a different amount of people. And that just means that unfortunately, it's just not like, you know, it's not a good business decision for me. And of course, it's not all about the money. It's not all about like, you know, if it was, then some of the stuff that I do on YouTube really wouldn't exist. But, you know, now that I have a team and stuff, and like we want to do stuff, right? We want to make games. And, you know, that requires people, that requires money. So that's also the kind of thing. And we want to keep working on Hazel as well. All right, that was a long answer. Will you sell it on Udemy? No, I want to make my own platform, because Udemy, like, depending on what you do on Udemy, Udemy can take up to like 70 or 80% of the money. I think it might even be more. So I'm going to be making like, I don't know, Cherno Academy or something. And it's just going to be like 100% of the proceeds are going to go to Studio Cherno. All right. And also, like, I don't need Udemy's marketing. I think that I can just market it on YouTube, obviously, to you guys. But like, yeah, just like the thing is, I don't have time though right now. I would love to make a course on so many things. Like, I really want to make an updated, more complete C++ course, because I have obviously the one on YouTube, but that's like, you know, I started that in 2017. Like, I've learned so much, obviously, in the last 6 years, that I would redo it, and I would also probably make it more complete. So that's something I want to do, and I want to make that like fairly cheap, just so that like more people can learn C++, you know. And then like I'd love to do like a Vulkan course, but not like a Vulkan course, meaning how to use Vulkan the API, but more like how to actually build a renderer in Vulkan and render like a beautiful scene. Like, I really want to do that as well. Yeah, like a ray tracing kind of thing would be cool, but I am kind of doing that on YouTube, but I don't know to what extent I'll end up doing that. We'll see how it goes, because that's not a high priority. But yeah, like I would love to sit down and just take a year and make like a bunch of courses, but I also have to keep this going. And obviously, like, I have a family, I have a baby. So like I can't just work, you know, forever. Oh, by the way, thank you, Bewilder Beast, for the £5. I appreciate all the free content. Thank you. I appreciate you appreciating the free content. It wasn't like 30% to Udemy and 70% to the creator. It depends. If you sell it with a coupon, I think you do get most of it. But if you sell it through your own link. So Udemy gives you a link, as far as I'm aware. I've never sold anything on Udemy, so I don't know, but this is what I've heard. If you sell it through a coupon, through your coupon, then you get like 80, I don't know how much, but you get the majority. But if Udemy sells it through their site, meaning that someone on Udemy didn't go through your link, but found your course and paid for it, Udemy get the majority. But still, even if they took 30%, like, why? I'd rather price the course lower and give it, and, you know, have it be cheaper for you guys and have more people who might not be able to afford expensive courses have access to it. We need a video on how to get a job in the games industry. Well, I've told my story before. It's a little story time with Cherno. But I don't know if I like really know how to get a job in the games industry. I just kind of stumbled into it somehow. So yeah, I don't really have much experience with that. If I was making that video, it's probably mostly for the clickbait. Let's be real, because I don't really know. I don't really know what I would say. Well, I mean, I could give advice, obviously. Like, you know, here's the video in like 5 seconds. Have a good, strong portfolio of like what you've actually done, so that when you rock up at to an interview or whatever, you can be like, hey, check out this like game engine I made. Check out Hazel. Like, I just made this game engine called Hazel. We've shipped games with it. Like, you know, you want to play one of them? Here. Look at it running at 500 FPS. Done. Where do I start? Do something like that. Just want to let you know the C++ training videos are very appreciated. Thank you. Make them with a lot of exercises. Yes, that's the other thing. If I was making a C++, like a premium C++ course, I would make it, yeah, like I would make it, I would, you know, have homework and because see, that's the other thing, right? Like on YouTube, it's like people watch YouTube videos, they're not as committed. But if someone buys like a $50 course, you know, like they obviously like they're committed, right? Like they're gonna go, they've bought it because they really want to learn and they're willing to pay money for it, right? So therefore, like those people, you know, like it'd be really cool having like all those people in like a Discord where they can, it kind of like basically like the idea that the reason why I came up with this, by the way, guys, is because like I teach students, right? A lot of you guys don't know this, but the cherno.com/tutoring, right? Or if you just go to the cherno.com, there's like a link there. But the thing is, I teach people privately, and I never announce this. I never talk about this, because obviously if I'm teaching people, like, you know, if people book in hour sessions with me, that's an hour of my time. So I clearly can't like scale that, because if I scale that, then I have no time to make videos or work on Hazel, because I'm teaching students full time. So I never announce this. So it's like, you know, for those of you who want me to teach you privately, like, good luck. And it sounds like I'm being like arrogant or whatever, but I'm just being realistic. Like, it's tough. Like, I don't have many open slots. But anyway, the point is, I'm not saying this because it's an ad for my tutoring business. I'm saying this because recently I've been teaching this one student who goes to university, and like they like are studying C++ there. And basically I've been helping them like with their kind of homework and their assignments. And my gosh, do I want to pull my hair out. Like, I was just thinking, like, the stuff that they are doing there is actually like, it's just messed up. Like, it is just wild. And I was just like, and like, I'm obviously teaching this student, and like I'm explaining stuff to them, and they're like, wow, like you've like, I can't believe you just explained that in 5 minutes. Like, my lecturer did not say any of this. Like, and it turns out in about an hour, like I literally taught this student more than like they had learned in probably over a week. Especially because, like, you know, they can Google stuff themselves and they can learn themselves. And I get that like a lot of these, you know, courses in university are all about self-learning, but like still, like the assignments that they got and what they had to do, you know, was just so specific and not broad at all. Like, one of the assignments was, I kid you not, implementing a, like, I think some kind of like hash map, but it wasn't implementing a hash map. It was writing a class that wrapped std unordered map. I'm not kidding. How to write your own hash map class, make a class called hash map, add a bunch of functions, and then just have it call std unordered map. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, anyway, that was just one of the examples. And then like, I think the other thing was like making a calculator in WX widgets. And I'm like, first of all, thank you, student, for making me try out WX widgets, a thing I have never done before and will never do again. But like a calculator in WX widgets. to learn C++, guys. Not like, let's make a fun game, like, you know, just using the command line to learn about like data structures and how to like, you know, balance, you know, how to like, you know, allocate memory and store state and logic to make that work. None of that. Nah. No, like, let's use like SFML or SDL or something. Like, this is how you use a library in C++. And look, graphics on the screen. Isn't this exciting? And don't you just want to add more features to this? A calculator in WX widgets, which is just ridiculous. And so the thing is, the reason why I'm telling you the story is because of that, because of this student, like, I legitimately was just like, bro, I want to make my own like C++ university course because I would teach this so much better. And like, I bet a bunch of you guys would teach it so much better. It's not that I'm so good. It's just that, like, I honestly think that it's just ridiculous what they're doing. Like, I just don't get it. How is that useful, bro? How is that useful? You're going to graduate college or university and you're going to be like, hey, like, potential job person who wants to hire me, I can make a calculator in WX widgets. First of all, who even uses WX widgets? Like, who, I'm not saying it's obviously a very popular library. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like who graduates university armed with WX widgets and like puts that on their resume. And it's like, I'm going to now become a WX widgets programmer. Does anyone actually want to do that with their lives? Like, it doesn't make sense. But also, you're clearly learning how to use WX widgets. You're not learning how to, and in the scope of a calculator as well. Like, you're not learning C++ really. So anyway, the point is, like, I was just like, bro, like, let me just make my own university. Let me just make my own university. I'll make some really good C++ content. I'll give you really good exercises. We're going to make projects that like inspire you and that you're going to want to sit down and work on. And you're going to actually learn how to think like a programmer, and you're going to learn the language, and you're going to learn how to do whatever you want to do instead of how to do this one specific task. So that's my sales pitch. Now I just need someone to give me time. I just need to retreat to a cabin for like 6 months, like some kind of artist, and just make this thing. I rest my case. I'll take questions now, thank you. You will make university. I don't know about that. Did I say that? But yeah. How to join your Hazel team as a programmer? Well, we're not exactly hiring, and usually the people on the Hazel core team who are volunteers, the way that they kind of joined is they basically like did stuff. Like, they basically became patrons, they got access to the code base, and then they did stuff. And then they were like, hey Cherno, check this out. So like Emily, for example, who's in chat, like, she's the newest member. Like, she basically just added Linux support to Hazel. And we're just like, here. And then like, you know, I put Peter in charge of that just because I had no time to deal with that. But like, you know, she did a pretty good job, and now she's in the Hazel team. So that's how that works. And like, you know, it's just that like, obviously, like, I can't just be like, oh, you want to be in the you want to work on Hazel, sure, done. Like, because, you know, we need to support some kind of level of code. People pay for Hazel, right? People pay for access to Hazel. So like, I do want to have some kind of level of quality. But yeah, and people have interned as like volunteers and stuff. But again, like, you know, you can always try sending me an email, like, to business@thecherno.com, but like, you have to also realize that, like, obviously every kind of person that even if you are a volunteer, and I'm very grateful for your kind of contribution, that's still like, it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily make things easier, especially if you're not very good, which, I mean, is a possibility. So yeah. I'm already an experienced programmer. Do you have any suggestions for learning C++? Yeah, just like start using it for whatever you want to use it for, and just Google stuff along the way. Just like, you know. I mean, there are important things for you to realize in C++. Like really, like the biggest thing is probably just like memory and stuff, memory pointers, that kind of stuff. That's probably the biggest thing, and obviously the library. But other than that, it's not really that different from other C-style languages. How big is the Hazel team? Well, there's 3 people in Studio Cherno, myself, Tim, and Peter, and that's like the kind of paid people who have jobs. But then the volunteers, there's probably like four people at the moment who are kind of active, right? So 0x, Jay, Emily now. Is that it? 3? I think that's it. Missed some self-promo of your own materials there. Well, if you're already an experienced programmer, I don't know if my C++ series would help. I guess it would though, because like, especially at the beginning, those videos on like how the C++ compiler works, how the C++ linker works, move semantics. Like, yeah, there's probably a lot of videos there that are kind of not just for programming, like the variables video, but like, you know, and functions or whatever, but like specifically for C++, and that'd be good. Someone said something about Alivka, I think. Here we go. Ты ведь говоришь и понимаешь по-русски, Alivka. Yeah, I speak Russian. And that question was like, you speak and understand Russian, basically. There was a question though. Alivka is the name of my cat, by the way. Olive, I guess, in English. But Alivka is just a nice name. I loved your rant on WX widgets. We currently have it at university and I hate it. Yeah, I hate it so much. Like, why, man? The thing is, like, I honestly think that, like, and it's not an exaggeration. It took me like an hour. It took me like an hour to set up this stupid WX widgets. Like, it literally took me so long. And like, you know, I mean, unless I was actually, because here's what I did, right? I downloaded, like, I am not kidding, by the way. I downloaded WX widgets, like I downloaded the development libraries and that, like the header files or whatever. And they come with Visual Studio property pages. So like, it should work, but it doesn't, man. You add it into your property manager in Visual Studio and it's like, it just doesn't compile. So it took me like an hour to manually go through the property pages and like fix the configuration that it shipped with, apparently. So like why? Why doesn't it just work? And like, it's so weird. Like, it has its own like main function, like somewhere that you include, and like lots of macros everywhere to like bind events and stuff. Like, yeah, some of that stuff makes sense, but it's also like, no one learning C++ needs to be exposed to that. That's maybe like a 3rd year subject, because it's complex and it doesn't make sense, and it teaches you that C++ looks ridiculous. Because the thing about C++ is it's so flexible that it can be made to look and be used however you like. And so people create different libraries that almost look like different languages, which is fine if you're experienced. But like, if you're not, then it's crazy. WX widgets is more commonly used on Linux, sure. IMGUI is definitely the easiest way. That's definitely true. Like, I think it's a good idea. If I like, but the thing is, I also don't think that you need to be making GUI applications in like university. If you're like, of course, if you're doing just like a computer science degree and then maybe like, you know, 2nd, 3rd year, like sure, you know, have a subject on GUIs. Not bad. But like 1st year, like, no. Do something fun, first of all, and second of all, do something more useful that will teach you the language, not the library. Because I guarantee anyone who picks up WX widgets in their 1st year of C++ is going to be like, bro, what an outdated language, especially if they use other things. OpenGL or Vulkan. Well, I like Vulkan more. But, yeah. OpenGL's fine. You can still kind of use it, I think. I think it's not too outdated, or like the driver support's still decent, I guess, maybe. If you're wanting to build a UI, just use C# WPF. Yeah, well, if you're using C#, then I guess so. But that's also like kind of specific because you've got XAML, and you need to like, yeah, data binding and like, that's why like, I don't know, IMGUI really is simple in the sense that like, it's very bare bones. It's just like, because it's immediate mode, I think it makes more sense than anything else. Because if you're already used to C++ and you have like your data structures and you know how to use like, I don't know, maps and vectors and whatever in C++, then like getting that to be displayed now on the screen in the form of UI in IMGUI is just like easy. You just iterate through your data structure and draw stuff because it's immediate mode. But with like, you know, Qt or like, you know, Qt as people call it, but whatever. With like Qt, I'm just gonna call it Qt, and like WPF and I'm not saying XAML is bad. I'm just saying that it's like, you know, it's straying further from like obviously C++ and that simple way of things. You know, you kind of end up, you know, you have to make your own, you have to convert it into their data structures potentially, and it just becomes a whole thing. And, you know, with, I don't know if XAML and WPF is still kind of like all, like I know there's like, you know, with the data binding and then there's like notify property changed and then like there's all this other stuff that you have to add. And because I did quite a lot of XAML and C# WPF for EA. Like I wrote entire tools in it actually. I wrote a model viewer and a sprite, like a 2D sprite animator, like with a compression system. I did both like the like workflow and the development side of things, meaning like what the game studios used to actually create these and author these sprite animations, and then I also did the runtime. So that was a big system. And yeah, the tools were written in C# WPF, and Frostbite is C# WPF, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it's like Unreal and Unity, which is like, you know, just C++ and stuff, but it's not. It's C# WPF. Why choose Vulkan over DirectX 12 if using MFC and other Windows stuff anyway? If there are upsides for Vulkan versus Direct 21, I guess 12, from just the API perspective? No, there's not. I would use DirectX 12. I used Vulkan because of two reasons. First of all, it is the best bang for buck, meaning that for implementing one API, you immediately get all the desktop platforms and even more. Right, so Windows, Mac, Linux. Mac via Molten VK, so Vulkan 1.2 now is supported basically automatically. Of course, not ideal. Of course, would be better to use Metal on Mac, but you still get it nonetheless. And then you get Windows and Linux, which I would say are the two big gaming kind of platforms. Windows, of course, is 98% or whatever of that, but still, you get the desktop platforms. And that's good because even though like most people aren't shipping games on Linux, meaning like most gamers, I guess, aren't on Linux, a lot of developers like Linux, and so that means that Hazel could potentially be a tool that they could use for development and for data visualization and for other things, not necessarily shipping games, but just using the editor and being able to experiment with like shaders or rendering or whatever they want to do. So that's kind of why. But also, I mean, Android, which we don't care about really because we don't want to really support mobile. But also the Nintendo Switch, which Vulkan is not the native API for that, but you can like ship games with Vulkan on the Nintendo Switch, and we do want to target that one day. So basically, realistically, it gets us 4 platforms, whereas obviously DirectX gives us Windows and Xbox and the Windows Phone, which I don't think exists anymore, but I remember back at EA we supported that for The Sims up until that got cancelled, but yeah. So that's why. That's basically why. But that doesn't mean that we're never going to add DirectX 12 support. It should be fairly easy, and I don't mean easy, but like comparatively easy, just because it's very similar to Vulkan, and we support, and we like the engine mostly, you know, obviously kind of works. Like we've abstracted a lot of the stuff that Vulkan does, so it should be okay. But it would, like, for us to ship a DirectX 12 game, like, if we, basically, DirectX 12 is going to be added to Hazel if we seriously decide to target the Xbox. Which, if that ever happens, that will be once we ship a game on Steam. Like, a premium game on Steam, and let's just say it does really well, and you guys all buy it, and you love it, and it does really well, and we have some more resources, then we're going to make, we might port it to Xbox. And that would be cool. Is Linux support part of Hazel 2023.1? No. It'll be part of 2023.2. What was your most learned resource when learning graphics? So initially, I think the biggest resource in the very beginning for me was the OpenGL Super Bible. So that's a book that I bought, which I have a physical copy of, which is like this thick. And it teaches you a lot about the API, as well as how to do certain render techniques. And then there was like the book of shaders as well, like the red book or the orange book, whatever it's called. That was, I don't have a physical copy of that, but that was useful. After that, it was EA, my experience at EA, and being able to talk to people at EA and be like, how the heck do I make this better? And also, basically at the end of my first year at EA in 2015, we were porting the engine to Vulkan. And actually, when I first joined EA, we were adding PBR support to our mobile engine called Osiris. So I was exposed, I was around a lot of graphics stuff, and once we had the PBR stuff working, later that year was basically, Vulkan. We had like pre-production or pre-release Vulkan drivers that rebooted Android devices every time you'd make an incorrect API call. Very fun, but I was kind of around that a lot, so I learned a lot of that as well, and I could talk to people. What does PS5 use for API? Basically uses two, GNM and GNX. One of them's kind of like OpenGL, one of them's kind of like Vulkan. What are your... Yeah, so if we did PS5, we'd have to implement Sony's API, but it's not too bad, and the development tools are fantastic. Meaning like it's kind of like, in a way, it's almost like Apple stuff. Like Apple, like, you know, like Metal with Xcode works really, really well. Like you can do really good frame captures. It's kind of like having RenderDoc and Insight just in your IDE. Like it works really well. And I know that, like, in a way, Visual Studio has like DirectX, some kind of DirectX debugger, but I've never used it. Cherno, I found out that Patreon isn't legally available in Russia. Could you make an alternative way to see videos from it? Yeah, I've had a few people from Russia reach out. I don't know. I just don't know how to make that work. But, like, I would like to. Maybe send me, like, an email, and I'll try and do something. But, like, yeah, it's unfortunate. Hey, Cherno, did you ever use the go-to keyword in your C++ career? Not in, like, production code or anything. But probably I have just for fun, I guess. You don't really need it. Like, it simplifies something. It's like if you have like, if you want to break out of more than one for loop, you know, for example, like you have a nested for loop and you're in the inner one and you want to break out of both. It's really annoying to set that up. That's one of the few things that are, like, in terms of how control flow works in programming, like that sucks. Which is why when my boss at EA was writing his own language called Words, I suggested that he make this new keyword called flee. And flee, like F-L-E-E. And you could specify a number next to it. So you'd be like flee 2. And flee 2 is kind of like break, but it breaks out of 2 scopes. Pretty cool idea. I gotta get a patent on that. What do you think about render dependency graphs? Yeah, they're good. I mean, Hazel kind of has a render graph now, ish. It's like half a render graph, so we can kind of do that, which is good. There is Boosty, Patreon alternative. I haven't heard of that. Oh yeah, maybe we can just use a VPN. That'd be nice. I imagine. Will you ever Hazel source code for the public? Probably not. because that's how we fund the project. If you guys didn't support the project on Patreon, then Tim and Peter would not be employed. And I don't even know if, and even me, like maybe I could survive off of like YouTube ads and sponsorships, but like I probably wouldn't have quit my job at EA if it wasn't for you guys. So that's the thing. Hazel exists as long as people pay for it. It's really that simple. I'd still do it for fun, obviously. If I was still working at EA and I wasn't making any money from this, then I'd still work on Hazel, but obviously the progress would be much slower because I'd be working full-time at EA, and outside of that, you know, having a family and raising children and stuff. So yeah. Linux gaming is going to be hard to get off the ground properly because there isn't enough critical mass. Yes. Yeah, the payment from Russia wouldn't even work with VPN, that's true. Time to escape from Russia, I think. Tony Plays says, I am paying Peter's salary, so Peter better help me if I need some help. Yes, that's how it works. We divide the employees into patrons. we give a portion to each patron. ABI breaks and C++, that's a flame war. Hey, what about Linux plus Hazel? How's this relationship today? Pretty good. Works. I'm going to, well actually, I haven't physically, like in the flesh, I haven't actually seen it work. Peter has seen it work. I believe he has a Linux computer at home, which he has run it on successfully. But I do have Poppy behind me, which if you guys watched yesterday's video, you know that I made this new, well, got this new QA computer and named it Poppy. Very spur of the moment decision for the naming, but I'm gonna install Linux on Poppy, and then I'll be able to see it work in the flesh, and hopefully we're gonna fix ship the whatever game we make for the game jam next weekend. Hopefully we're going to ship that on Linux. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. Doesn't work latest dev. Worked a few commits ago. Yes, we had some drama amongst the Hazel team. And that's why Linux doesn't work on the latest commit. Didn't involve me. I'll say that much. How often do you stream? I don't know, man. I don't know. I try and stream like once a week. Will I make a schedule in the future here on YouTube for live streams? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I can schedule live streams, so I'll probably schedule the Ludum Dare. I'm going to do the Ludum Dare live stream on YouTube, I think. So I'll schedule that like a few days ahead of time, so you guys can kind of see that. But yeah. Why do you favor Visual Studio because instead of other IDEs like C-Line? Because it's better than them. Are you in an office or your own home? I'm in the Studio Cherno office. Need a link to this music playlist. It's just Epidemic Sound, and it's just jazz. I've set the genre to jazz, and that's what we're listening to. What about Vulkan 3D rendering course? One day, when I have time. I'm excited to see what you do for the game jam. So am I. I was thinking of using Hazel, but I'm not sure if I will be able to get anything made in it. Well, it's definitely possible to make stuff with it, because we have done that. But, yeah. Do you plan on adding multiplayer on Hazel? Yes, but I don't know when. I plan on adding everything to Hazel, but it's just like I might be doing it when I'm like on my pension, but I will be doing it. Do you recommend learning Vulkan just by reading the docs? No, I wouldn't read the official. The official documentation is good to have as a reference, but yeah, I would not read it to learn Vulkan. Just, I don't know, like vulkantutorial.com or whatever. Do that, And then Sasha Williams examples of fantastic. That's all you need, really, I think. If you don't understand rendering at all, then that's tough. Like, you'll have to probably look at another source, which I can't help you with, because I will make that source, I will make that resource one day. I hope to be one of the better guides for rendering and stuff, at least to learn that and get started, but I need time for that. New game engine in HTML when? That's funny. Anyway, I should probably go. It's like pretty late. But it's kind of fun. I feel like YouTube streams are more fun. I don't know why. Does Hazel has a functionality that no other engine has? Oh. I don't know. Not really, I guess. You could probably achieve anything you can achieve in Hazel and other engines as well. But Hazel is just like, to be honest, the best thing about Hazel is just how fast it is, like, to iterate over and stuff. Like, because it's kind of small and simple, like, you know, you can just like update a C# script, like, live pretty much, like, without even stopping, like, in play mode. Actually, Peter, does that still work? Because that's a really good feature. I was doing that in my ray tracing series in one of the episodes where I show how it actually, like, how this stuff works. I was just using Hazel and I was reloading like C# scripts as I was writing them, like, really quickly, and it was just working. So what's that line? There's like a annoying line above chat. Just crop that out. It's annoying. Just noticed that. But anyway. Where were we? Yeah, I think it should, says Peter. That's good. Yeah, hot reload. Like, yeah, like, you know, the thing is, like, working with Unity, like, everything's just so slow. Like, you change something, you go back, you see a little progress bar, it, like, recompiles, like, the whole editor or whatever it does, and 10 minutes later you're playing. Whereas with Hazel, it's just, like, done. Hitting play and stop is very fast as well. Like, it's just, like, because it's so simple, it's just really fast. And it's just like, when it works, it's a pleasure, honestly. It's a pleasure to work with because of just how lightweight and fast, I guess, it is. But when it doesn't work, it's annoying because you're like, crap, I have to add half the features I want. Do you agree that code is better than blueprint making? I prefer it, but I'm a programmer, so would I really say anything else? Probably not. Will, like, stable releases builds of Hazel be, like, free in the future? I like how you used the word like twice in that sentence. Yeah, we want to make a free we want to make like binary releases of like Hazel free in the future, but I don't know when. And so basically the plan, the future plan is like Hazel will be free to use, but if you want the source code, then you're gonna have to support it on Patreon. That's basically the gist. And you'll also get, like, I guess the latest version, obviously the development version, through Patreon, because you'll get access to the repository, and then we'll do periodic releases, like probably once a quarter. I haven't touched Unity in about 10 years. Is it really that bad now? It's pretty bad, yeah. I don't like it. How do you make money off of Hazel? Patreon.com/thecherno. Thank you, Ray, for your support on that platform. Unity sometimes breaks for me. Yeah, it breaks for everyone. The thing I hate the most in Unreal is that I have to recompile the editor all the time. Yeah, like, Unreal is good, and their tech is great, obviously, but, like, my goodness me. Like, my goodness me, is it, like, just, like, you know, compiling 6,000 shaders for my simple scene of a plane in a cube. Like, no thank you. But, like, that being said, I do like Unreal Engine because it is really good. But, the thing is, it's more of like a AAA engine. Like, and even though it's kind of, they're trying to make it, I guess, more indie, like, it really is a hardcore engine. Which compiler is used to compile Hazel and why? MSVC, because Windows is the best. But in all seriousness, I haven't really tried compiling, like, I know that we can compile it with Clang, because obviously we support Linux, and we compile it on, I think we use Clang, or GCC maybe? I don't know which one. Peter is Linux compiled with Clang. I think we use Clang. But anyway, we can obviously compile it on Clang on Windows, but I haven't tried that. So we should. We should actually do that because I don't know. Who knows? It might be faster. Like as in, dichotomy might be faster compiled in Clang. Who knows? Hello, Cherno. I want to say thank you for the last series. Thank you. Even for commercial use, what do you mean? The free binaries or whatever? Yeah, I think so. We basically want to kind of like be like Godot's licensing model, I guess, but the source code is behind Patreon. So not quite like Godot. And we're also not really trying to compete with Godot because they're like, well, because the thing is like, I want to make, yeah, like sure, I want to make a game engine, but I also want to make games. Like I want to make games. I want to make games and ship games. And so that's the other thing. Like if we can just make games and sell them on Steam and make a lot of money that way, then also like Hazel, the price of Hazel doesn't really matter as much. But obviously right now while we're developing the engine and we have no games to sell, then it's important, yeah. Do it like Unreal and take 5% royalty when title earns over $1 million. I don't think we'll do that. That's kind of hard to enforce and probably requires lawyers and stuff. I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather write code and make games. Yeah, Visual Studio supports Clang. Is it really worth it to support multiple graphics APIs with interfaces? If you want to ship on different platforms, then yes. It's kind of necessary. Hey Cherno, do you know something about Unigen? Have you ever used it? I haven't used it. I've seen a lot about it. I think it's more for like non-game related commercial purposes like simulation and visualization and stuff. But it does look pretty cool. Anyway. Thank you, chat, for entertaining me this evening. I'm probably going to go now. How does Hazel currently work? This was a while ago. How does Hazel currently work when migrating an old project to the latest version of Hazel? Is that an issue? Is that an issue as it is in Unreal? We like to support backwards compatibility, meaning like when it reads an old file, when you save it, it will update it, obviously. But when you read it in, it will, like the deserializer still will support the old way of doing things, usually. So we try not to break it. But I think some things are kind of broken because they have to be, but yeah. Why Vulkan and not DirectX? I explained that earlier. Basically because platforms, more platforms, and we don't like plan on shipping on Xbox anytime soon. What's the least fun you've had recently while writing software? I find that I can very often encounter an issue that completely kills my motivation. Well, the first thing that came to mind was when we wrote the GitHub Patreon thing. So for those of you who don't know, once you do sign up on patreon.com/thecherno and you want your Hazel access, you go to git.hazelengine.com. And you can basically connect your, like, because it's handled automatically now. It used to be you had to send me a private message on Patreon. That was like super annoying, and people were annoyed they had to wait like a week to get access. So we made this thing, git.hazelengine.com, and basically what you do is you connect your Patreon account, you connect your GitHub account, and if this stuff is like, you know, it will obviously validate that you're a patron of the right tier and whatever. And then if everything goes well, then you'll get an invitation emailed to you from GitHub. And so this beautiful thing is written with Node.js, and obviously with the Patreon and the GitHub APIs. So I think I did the bulk of that probably, and Peter did a lot of work on it as well. So basically for a month, back in like October, November last year, Peter and I became web devs. And that was a dark time. Like, that was, there were, like, it wasn't all bad, but like, I don't know, man, like game engine developer becoming a web dev, like that's a dark path, I think. No offense to web developers, but yeah. Enough said. Music playlist, please. Epidemic Sound Jazz. That's it. You can probably find it on Spotify. How'd you go about learning Vulkan? Did you just read the docs or did you learn some when you were at EA? Mostly EA and then Sasha Worm's examples and stuff. And obviously referring to the spec / probably some other websites, Googling stuff. What do you use for audio playing? We use Mini Audio, library called Mini Audio, and a lot of code on top of that. What C++ standard is used in Hazel? We use C++ 17 at the moment. We don't use modules, and yes, we will upgrade to 20 soon. I was supposed to do that, I think, but I think Jay did that a while ago. Right. One senior web dev is crying from this now. It's me. Sorry, Anton. But yeah, I mean, it's just not like my piece of cake, but it's also kind of like, it's difficult. Like when you just really need to use Node.js for something, for example, and you're just not like, you don't do it for a living, so therefore you're obviously not as experienced and good with it. It's very easy to get frustrated. Kind of like, you know, if I asked you, presumably, I don't know what your Vulkan experience is like, but if I asked you to quickly do something in Vulkan, you'd probably be pulling your hair out. Not because it's necessarily bad, but just because you're obviously not in your element, and you're also not going to use it long enough to commit learning a lot of it. So therefore, yeah. If Jan hasn't answered your question yet, he either hasn't seen it or he's busy answering other questions. What's that in reference to, Peter? Or he doesn't feel like answering it. Yes, that. I don't know what you're talking about, though. Nah, he sees your question in chat. I think he has his reasons. What are you guys talking about? Why shadow ban me, Cherno? Do I have to answer a tough question now? Because I actually don't know what you guys are referring to. Let me scroll up. I actually can't see. What do I think about WebGPU or WASM? Haven't really used it too much. Ah, here we go. Here was your question, Mr. Echo. So what is your opinion on new systems programming languages like Zig and Rust? Rust is funny because you guys hear what happened with Rust and their whole trademark situation? I just heard about that today. What the heck? Rust is in a bit of a predicament at the moment. Zig, I haven't really looked into. But I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. Well, actually, my stock standard answer for that is basically like, I don't care. And the thing is, like, yes, I may be a programmer, but I'm not like what I call a meta programmer, meaning I don't really care about programming. I obviously like programming, but I like it because it lets me create things like an artist. Yeah? Like, I'm not like, you can't say a painter is like fanatical about paintbrushes and paints and stuff. Of course there are people like that, but most of them probably like it because it lets them draw things, lets them create art. Like it's a tool that lets you do it lets you express yourself and create what you want and what's in your head and put it down on a canvas, right? And so in that kind of fashion, C++ is a tool, is a language that I use for me, not because I love C++, which I do, but not because I love C++, but I like it because it lets me create games and do stuff like Hazel, right? And it gives me enough like control where I can actually achieve the things that I want. And like, if I want to make the computer do this, and I know that like CPUs are good at doing this specific thing, and this needs to be the case, and that needs to be the case, and the hardware needs this and that. C++ gives me the tools to make that happen. And so if I have a design for a particular like way I want to do things, or a particular way I want to lay out data, or a particular algorithm or whatever in my head, I can put that down onto a canvas using C++, right? So therefore, I like C++ because it lets me do what I want to do. But I don't really care that it's C++ that lets me do that. And I'm definitely not going to... If C++ already does that for me, I'm very unlikely to start looking into other things like Rust and Zig and whatever else. Because why? Because the limit to my expression is not the tool I'm using. It's not C++. C++ is not limiting me in any way. And like, again, that's not to say that it's the best language available and that my life wouldn't be easier or maybe more bug-free if I had used something with like more pedantic ownership semantics or whatever like Rust. Yeah? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the language I use is like the least of my concern at the moment. Because it's doing what I needed to do, and that's that. So that's probably a good place to end it. That is my, this could be an episode of the Cherno podcast, which, by the way, I haven't done in a while. Yeah. But yeah. Does Hazel use quaternions or Euler angles? Internally it uses quaternions, but we obviously don't make people write out quaternions by hand. Like we use Euler angles for like displaying the rotations and stuff. But internally it uses quaternions, and the animation system uses quaternions. Kind of has to. Cherno rant is good. There's been a few Cherno rants. Is the Cherno podcast actually a thing? Yeah, I did like 2 episodes. I would do more, but like I'm just not a very like community oriented person. Like I don't really know many people from the community, and like therefore I don't really have guests. Like if someone like wants to go on the Cherno podcast and they're an interesting person, like hit me up. business@thecherno.com. Send me an email. I don't know, tweet at me. Like whatever. Like just, you know, we could sit down and do a podcast. If you are like worthy, meaning like if talking to you would provide good content. But like, cause I like podcasts. I love talking to people. Like I'm a pretty social person. So like I definitely enjoy making podcasts, but it's just like, I don't really know that many people, and, you know, to go ahead and start finding like guests for the podcast when I should be working on Hazel and also making YouTube videos, which I'm behind on, like, But that's all. If basically what I kind of need to do, probably, is, I should get like a manager or someone to find me guests, and then that way they could be like, all right, today you're interviewing this guy, or like you're doing a podcast with this guy, and then that way I could just sit down and do it. Would you have John Carmack on the podcast? Of course I would. Invite Bjorn. Yeah, that'd be fun. Do a podcast with Peter. Yeah, actually I am heading to Sweden. Well, I haven't officially got the flights yet, but I'm going to Europe later this year, and I plan to pop into Sweden. And so I am going to hang out with Peter a bit. So maybe, actually, we can do an IRL podcast. That would be kind of fun. Then I'll have to, like, bring my mic and stuff. And the holiday is going to become a business trip. Which is actually maybe good. Maybe I can expense that. We'll see. But yeah, if you guys want to see someone on the podcast, then just let me know and just like tweet at them and be like, hey, will you go on the Cherno podcast? And I guarantee to you that if you guys get someone who would make a good guest and they say yes, and that way I don't have to like spend time setting this up, basically, if you do the work for me, then I guarantee to you, I will sit down and make a podcast with them. Okay? That is my promise to you. So just make that happen. All right? I want to see Andrew Tate on the podcast. That's hilarious. I actually asked Sebastian, and he said no because, well, he said not at this time or whatever because he's not really into that kind of stuff. But yes, I wanted to do one with him. Have Joe Rogan on. That's funny. All of these people I would do, by the way. All of these people I would have a podcast with. So yeah, set it up, guys. Do it, stream. Do it. I dare you. Set it up, and I'll do a podcast even before Let 'em Dare. I'm that suicidal. Hopefully that doesn't trigger anything, that word. It's like YouTube channel terminated. Cherno got rejected. Yep. Even I got rejected. Can you believe it? Even me. That's fair. Not everyone likes being on stage. Yeah, I get that. DevDuck, yeah, I know DevDuck. Talk to him either. Sorry, guys. That, I don't know why my OBS does that. It's just like, basically what happens, maybe you guys can help me with this issue. Am I live again? I should be live again. But basically what happens, that's happened before when I was like testing it out. Nothing, like everything was fine. Obviously just streamed for like 3 hours straight. 0 dropped frames, and then all of a sudden it goes red and it drops every single frame, like due to network. Every single frame. And obviously I can still see chat, my internet's still working fine. And then I have to close OBS, reboot it, and then start the stream again. So I don't know why. That's gonna be annoying though if that happens for Let 'em Dare and stuff. Lol, YouTube works faster terminating his channel. That's funny. How did you learn to utilize a shader pack? I have Googled it and can't find anything about them other than Minecraft. Well, a shader pack is kind of... A shader pack and Hazel are just something I kind of made up to solve a problem. So that's how I learned it. I created it. That's the best way to go, right? If you just create things, then you can't really be wrong. Because it's kind of like your design, you know what I mean? Like you can't like be like, I don't know how to do this because you're the one who made it. So you can just keep making stuff, and even if it's trash, it's yours. So that's how I roll. All right, guys. Seriously though, it's getting late, and for the last 2 days I've gone to bed at like 2 a.m. And I've been feeling like crap for the last 2 days, so I want to go to bed early today, and it's already 10 o'clock, and I'm panicking. But yeah. Do you like Japanese cartoon, Cherno? I do like the occasional like Studio Ghibli movie. I do. Quite a lot. And I do like Japan a lot because my wife and I went there on our honeymoon and it was like the best. And I love it. So I really want to go to Japan again, probably next year. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. Don't forget, next weekend, Let 'em Dare, I'll be streaming like the 3 days. I'll be sleeping as well. I won't be streaming that, but 3 days of content and 3 days of hardcore hazeling and making a game in Hazel with Tim and Peter. So it's very exciting stuff. And I hope you guys will be around for that. I'll probably stream before that as well. In fact, I did have the idea next Tuesday, so in a week from now, same time, I did have the idea to basically quickly slap in an undo redo system into Hazel in that live stream, but we'll see because I have to iron out all the render issues before then. I have a few videos to make as well. Busy week. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.